What's the difference between a nice guy and a good man?
So what is the difference between a nice guy and a good man? Well, a lot of you listening may be saying to yourself that the two terms are synonymous. There's really no difference between them, a good man and a nice guy. But there is a difference, and although the difference to some may seem minuscule and arbitrary, this video is going to illustrate fully the difference and the perception of most men when it comes to being referred to as a nice guy or a good man. So let's keep going with the video. Let's see what's here that we can learn from.
Yeah. Right about that in there, but a nice guy is about something. A nice guy gets along. Yeah, do that. Yeah, I'll do that. They don't necessarily have discernment or judgment, not sure what they stand for or stand against. It's like, yes, 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 sure. Yeah, hey.
So Matthew McConaughey has defined for us what he thinks a nice guy is. This guy has no boundary set. He's more of a people pleaser. And that behavior means there is this desire to please those around him. The desire to say yes when he really should say no. And this often comes at the price of his own mental health. His own ability to deal with life is questioned because he doesn't have the ability to set a firm boundary and stick to that boundary. This is the type of guy that is easily shaken from what he knows he should do. And there are principles that he has that he believes in, but he doesn't believe in them enough to sacrifice his reputation if one of those principles is called into question.
A good man has ideals that they stand for and they'll stand against, and when they're tested, a good man is not a nice guy.
Now we have the definition of a good man. You see, there is a difference, and Matthew McConaughey illustrates the difference. A good man has proper boundaries based on what he believes, and then he enforces those boundaries, especially when they're necessary to maintain progress and peace. So this person may not generally be liked, he may not be the most popular person, but he's willing to stand on the principles that he believes in. He's not one that's easily shaken. If he believes in respect, then he believes in giving and receiving respect. So we're talking about a person who is resolute in what he knows and believes, and so he doesn't allow anything around him to cause him to be swayed, unless it's a situation where he has to make a logical change because there is a better way to do what needs to be done. Other than that, he's sticking to his own principles. Let's keep going.
That's in the chapter of manning up. I was that time when I was doing the rom-coms, that's all I could do. I was feeling like my work was just me as a nice guy. And in life, I was not just a nice guy. Like I said, Camilla's pregnant. I got a child coming. I was feral with masculinity. And in my work, maybe I was feeling a bit neutered. And I was like, well, I'm a good guy and a good man in life, but I'm just a nice guy at work. Can I be roles that can be a good man? And that was dramas. Because in dramas, you can stand for or stand against something. Your ceiling for pleasure and your basement for pain are up to you. How do you feel about it? And no direction can go, that's too much. Or that's not enough. Or you got too angry there. Oh, you meant that too much. That didn't come in a drama. Those come in a rom-com, right? Because the emotions and how you feel are compressed to be in a buoyant level and a threshold that's up bouncing from cloud to cloud only. Dramas are as much pain, as much evil as you want to go, as deep, dark you want to go. Get there. Let's see how far you go. How high you want to fly. How close to that sun you get before you get burned. Go. Let's see how far you go. That's what you get in a drama. Much more like real life.
Matthew McConaughey is describing his stance on being a good man and really how it affected the first part of his career and the movies that he was making. He was characterized in those movies as a nice guy, but as time moves along, you have to be yourself no matter what, and he's finding it difficult to balance between playing a nice guy on screen and being a good man in real life. Because it's not his nature to be a nice guy, he's having difficulty playing those parts, and usually, good men can't play the role of a nice guy for very long. His principles and boundaries will not allow it. These boundaries and principles help you to have the kind of life that you want and the kind of life that those around you deserve. So at some point, you have to put your foot down and say, okay, you can come this far, but that's it. We can understand where he's coming from. He wants to portray himself in the movies as he is in real life, and so the realism that he can achieve by starring in dramas is based solely on who he is in real life, and I think that makes sense. Let's keep going.
And so, you know, good guys being a good man's a lot harder for good reason. Not going to be most popular. Not going to be always most affable. It also doesn't mean you got to be a dick or an asshole. It just means sometimes you got to go, I believe in this is for me, and that is not for me. And because that is not for me, if you do trespass into my space upon me and my family, I will do my best to cause consequences. And I'm going to let you know that. I hope that's apparent, because I'm not going to intrude on you. But if you trespass that, I'm going to stand up for it. And that we can talk our way out of that. Great. No, it doesn't always work that way. You know, a good man's not looking for trouble, you know. But if it comes, and if he or something he cares about and loves were susceptible to being trespassed on by trouble, a good man does what he can to do to stop that.
That's a powerful way to end this video. Mr. McConaughey is saying, because I'm a good man, when I'm confronted with anything that might cause harm to those that I love, that means that I will do what is necessary to protect them. If necessary, I'll meet force with force. Hopefully, we can come to a peaceful resolution. Hopefully, this thing can be resolved in a way that will not include anything unpleasant. But he made it clear that if we can't come to a peaceful resolution, then that means that the good man is prepared to meet the danger with whatever is necessary to stop it. He's prepared for whatever comes into play. That's what a good man is willing to do. And so I think that this particular video kind of spoke to me, because there are so many views on manhood, whether to be a nice guy or whether to be a good man. I think that Mr. McConaughey really tapped into what it means to be a good man. It's based on principles and boundaries. It's based on things that you believe and hold dear to yourself, things that you will not compromise. And so you can't be a people pleaser. You can't look at a situation and do what's most popular. You have to do what's best. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.